big.
Sure. Okay, so what we're talking about, sales conversions, and I want to zero in on what your specific issues are. Send me through your questions. Everyone cool with that? Anyone's got any specific questions, put them in the chat box, and I'll get Dan to read them out, and then Dan and I will go through them in detail. But as far as the difference between sales and closing, I think sales, in my eyes, uncovering need, presenting an offer, and overcoming objections. These are the three things that we want to do in the sales process. We want to uncover their need, present an offer, and overcome their objections. These are the three primary things. When it comes to closing, and this is where the money happens. You know, you can have the best conversations in the world, be the nicest guy, but if we're not closing, we're not having the biggest effect on them. So we're not bringing them in as a member, and also, you know, we're not getting the money in the business as well. So closing basically breaks down to logical reasons why they should act now. Because people buy, or, you know, they will leave their details through an ad emotionally. Something has, you know, drawn this out of them. They're really excited. Bang, I want to find out more about this. I'm really excited. This is emotional. But what they will also do is they will rationalize logically. And they'll always look at ways that, I shouldn't buy this, or I shouldn't do this. So the close essentially is to give them logical reasons that they should act now. Does that make sense? So that's the difference between sales and closing. And I'll go into this in a little bit more detail, but ultimately today we're talking about the 3 C's of sales. First one, contact. How do we contact these guys? Are we having trouble contacting these guys? How do we do it? Then we have the conversation, which is our sales process, and then we want to get into to the close. Sound good?
Beautiful, beautiful. Love that, KF. He's feeling it. He's on fire. So what we want to do is we're going to break down each portion, okay? So as Kevin's already alluded to, we want your questions. So this is a dialogue. We want to have a real interactive training today. So where are you having trouble with the most? So already, thank you to Christine, Darren as well, Anna as well. Thank you for putting in your feedback in the chat box. That's exactly what we want.
Yep. Already
there's a little bit of a theme emerging that one of the troubles, so Christine, you said getting people to answer the phone, and Darren, you said getting the sales appointment set. So that's what drops into our first C, which is contact.
Yep.
All right. And so before we even get into the nuances of the sales conversation and the close itself, you guys are generating huge numbers of leads, massive numbers of leads, but we want to make sure that we're getting as many of those leads actually onto the phone or having a conversation itself. And this is where I know a real challenge is for a lot of people. And Cam, you've just said that as well. Justin, you said most want to come and meet first and have a date in mind when they want to start. So, and having trouble with the payment confirmation over the phone. So there's a few things in there as well. Beautiful, guys. So let's start on the contact. If you guys want to share, unmute yourself. Where are you having troubles with in the contact space right now? Is it simply just getting them on the phone? Is it just, okay. So if anyone wants to share any specifics, please do, but we'll troubleshoot this together.
So I guess the first thing that we want to look at, and there's 3 points which Dan's just put up here: recency and frequency. Now, Dan, do you want to just explain where this came from?
Yeah, absolutely. So I really like Bedros Keuilian when it comes to sales.
Yeah.
I think he's very, very good. There's probably about 3 or 4 people that I follow when it comes to sales. Bedros Keuilian is one of them. Grant Cardone is another one. Dan Locke is another one. These guys, I really like what they do, and Taki Moore is the 4th. So they're the 4 that I really like, and I get inspiration and content from all of them. But I was listening to Bedros Keuilian the other day, and he said what is absolutely key is recency and frequency when it comes to your contacts. And let me define the difference between the two. Number 1 is recency. You have to contact that lead as soon as you possibly can. Everything in your power, as soon as that lead comes in, within minutes, you hope, but definitely within hours, that we have them on the phone, or at least we're dialing to make that call and sending out that text message. Now, what's happening, I believe, is you guys are so busy. You're running sessions, you've got coaches you're doing mentoring for, you're trying to do your marketing, your content and everything else. And so from when the lead comes in, there's a lag time. And each minute that lag time grows, your chances of conversion diminish as we move through. So you might only be checking your Facebook leads, maybe once a day or twice a day, yet someone may have, inquired at 6 p.m. and you checked it at 5 p.m. and then you're not checking it until 10 or 11, 12 the next day. Yep. And so there's this mighty lag, and that excitement that they had, that enthusiasm, that energy that they had has already started to dissipate. It's already started to diminish. And so what we need to do is we need to get onto that lead as soon as possible. And so we've been working with a couple of things here at FDI so we can enhance our recency as well. So in terms of that, what we've done now, instead of going into Facebook lead ads and physically having to check, download, and see what new ones are there, we now have installed Zapier, which Jimmy took you through quickly last week. This is piss easy to do. If you have any troubles, we'll do a video, an instructional video of how you do it. But now what we do is we do a Zap. And so using the program Zapier, there's a free trial on it, guys. So jump on board. We do a Zap from our Facebook lead to our email. And so our sales guys have their emails open because they're constantly emailing, and boom, straight away, as soon as that lead arrives via Facebook lead ads, they get an email and we're on the phone to them within minutes in terms of that. So got to have a look at the systems itself. We're learning different ways to improve it, but that is definitely a game changer for us. And it's something that I would recommend for you guys.
Absolutely. A couple of things about that as well. What you'll actually find is as soon as that lead comes in, if you just get onto these guys straight away, they're much more likely to pick up.
Yes.
Some people, sure, they're still going to be screening their calls because it'll come up, it'll be an unknown number or they won't recognize it and they might be screening it. That's okay. We can't do too much about that. But chances are, they'll listen to it straight away. But if you get these guys and they pick up, first thing they'll say is, wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
So it shows a couple of things. One, it shows incredible professionalism that you're getting back to them straight away. And they're also at that super hot point as well. So as Dan said, this is where these guys are at their hottest. Mm. So we want to capture that. The other thing which it does as well is they're in a position now where they could be shopping around. Mm. So they're going to be shopping around for, if they can't get onto you or they put a lead inquiry through to you, there's probably a gym down the road. They'll put a lead inquiry in for them, for the other guys. So you've got to be the first one to get back in contact with them and have this contact before anyone else does. Really raises your chance of converting that sale. So recency, absolutely crucial.
Yeah, really paramount. The other thing is, and I know we're all time poor, and I understand that, time is a finite resource and we only have so much of it. But what I would really do is try to manage your day and craft your day so you have two separate sales chunks, one in the first half of the day and one in the second half of the day. So it might be, one at 10, between 10 and 10:30, and then one between 4 and 4:30, for example. Two separate sales chunks at opposite ends of the day, so you can contact people multiple times a day at different times, number one. But number two, this way we can also enhance our recency as we move through. So we're not just doing sales once a day or once every couple of days, but we're scheduling it in advance. And really, sales is the lifeblood of your business. It really, really is. So you need to ensure that you're prioritizing your sales efforts, your sales commitment, and your sales time by having these chunks in place. So remember, we're in charge. We dictate how our week looks, how our life looks. Yep. We have the autonomy. We have the power. So craft your week so it serves you. So one of the things I recently did between last year and this year is I had a look, and my week wasn't giving me enough sales time because I was doing so many coaching calls during the day. Now, when you get your 90-day call reminders, you'll see that my 90-day calls are actually in the evenings. Why? Because I want busy portion of the day, the working hours of the day, to be committed to sales calls. So craft your day, craft your work life around this recency.
Yeah, prioritize what is going to have the biggest impact on your business, and sales, is going to have that biggest impact. Without sales, there is no business. So this has to be high priority for you. If you can, do 3 chunks. Do one in the morning, one at lunchtime, one in the afternoon. You don't want to leave these guys hanging, because they'll go cold.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely love that. So you've got to prioritize this stuff. All right, you really, really do. Now, we're getting in some great chats. What we'll do is we've split this training into 3 portions. The 3 C's of selling. This is just something I conceptualized this morning, but it really makes sense. There's the contact, there's the conversation, and there's the close. So everybody that's put relevant questions in and around the contact will cover. If you want to unmute yourself and you want to chat as well, absolutely. Like, we can dig a little deeper on some of those.
Yep.
So that's the first part. That's the recency. And I'll tackle Kim's question here because it's directly related to the recency itself. Dan, is there a time limit on this? If they send through an inquiry at 9:30 p.m., I always wait until the next day because it seems really late to call someone. So what I would say in that case, Kim, send them a text.
Yep.
Send them a text straight away. Hey, just got your inquiry. I'm really excited to have a chat to you and find out more about you and how we could potentially serve you. Just wanted to know, is there a preferred time to call you tomorrow? Because I'd like to lock it into my busy schedule.
Yeah.
All right.
Or give them a couple of options.
Or give them some options.
Give them a couple of options at the times that you're going to be available.
Yeah, 100%. So I would still get onto that, Kim. Absolutely still get onto that. But you got to move quick onto that.
If someone's sending you a message, a lead inquiry at 9:30 at night, they could be at home, watching, The Bachelor with their kids or whatever they do. They don't want to be interrupted with a phone call. But if you send them a text, it shows that you're still professional. You're still really keen to have that conversation with them. So they'll actually really respect that. Yep, great, fantastic. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, let's do it.
Yeah. Sammy, your challenge is time management. Absolutely. You and everybody else, we all feel it. We all have the same challenge itself. I would go back, watch some of that productivity series that I delivered probably about 6 coaching calls ago. Incorporate just one strategy, one habit at a time. Productivity, time management is not an instant fix. It's a continual process. So if you can just do one thing better as you move through. And I'm constantly refining the process. So, the things that I've done this year to improve my time management, in addition to everything I taught you guys last year, was number 1, I got a really, really, really quality team member in Philippines to help me out with some of this stuff. So she creates all the zaps. She's creating a lot of our EDMs, our text messages, and just some of the stuff that was sucking my time away. She's automated a system for 90-day calls and everything else. So I don't have to worry about that. And so you can get quality team members very, very cheap to free you up. I'm paying her $10 an hour and her skills are just next level. So have a look at what could you potentially outsource or delegate as you move through. Again, the other part is I really crafted my day around, all right, well, what's the most important thing I need to be doing during the day? It's sales. It's harder to do it outside of times. So now let's switch the paradigm of my day or the flow of my day so it actually does that as well.
I think the other thing with this as well is this is going to be an injection of a lot of your leads as well. I don't have time. If you're on point with your productivity and your own time management, you can actually explain to them that, you were in exactly the same situation and this is how you've actually overcome it. Use yourself as an example. You know what? I used to be exactly the same as you, but I realized that I had to prioritize certain areas of my life. And for you, you obviously now have to prioritize your health and fitness goals.
Yeah. So
you can actually use yourself as your own example, but you have to make that change.
Yeah, it's not an easy one. And I won't talk too much about productivity, but I reckon that's going to be a theme amongst pretty much all 46 of you, is that productivity and time management is going to be the challenge.
Yep.
So always assess. The other question you need to be asking yourself on everything you do is this absolutely essential and necessary that I do this? And so I've probably eliminated about 3 or 4 things this year from things I did last year, which I no longer do now because I'm just less is more. Less is more. You know, last year I was presenting in the US. Is it essential that I present in the US this year? No, it's not. So gone out. So I'm asking myself these questions.
There's a big difference between busyness and productivity, and you have to know the difference there.
Beautiful. So the second part of this is the frequency. And we talk about the follow-up monster. Now, I want to refresh your memory, because if you don't know what the follow-up monster is, then you need to know. And again, like credit, I will always give credit to people who have influenced some of these systems and practices. Credit goes to Bedros Keuilian again with the follow-up monster. I'm going to hand over to Kev because he knows the follow-up monster very, very well.
So the follow-up monster is essentially, I mean, we know when the lead comes through and we try and get in contact with them and they're not picking up their phone or whatnot. So essentially the follow-up monster, it's a 5-day process, primarily 4 days. And what we do is on the first day, we do in the morning, phone call, and then text. And this is the FTI follow-up monster, essentially. So we leave them a message, we send them a text. Hey, thanks so much for your inquiry. I'd love to give you some more information.
You guys got the text scripts.
Yeah, you guys have got the text scripts. So we do that in the morning, we do that in the afternoon as well. So that's 4 points of contact, which they get on the first day. The next day, we'll do the same again. So it'll be, once again, leave a message, text message, email, and then in the afternoon, I'll do a text message and leave a phone message as well. So there's another 5 points there. So just in the first 2 days, we're at 8 or 9 attempted points of contact right there. Then do it once again, the same again on the third day. Now, people will say, oh, look, this just sounds like you're stalking them. Great. You've got to remember, these guys have come to us. They've put their details in to get information from us. So they've given us permission to follow them up and follow them up relentlessly. And that's one thing Dan mentioned, some guys like Dan Locke, Grant Cardone, Bedros, these kind of guys. These guys are absolutely ruthless, and their sales teams are absolutely ruthless. And you have to be the same way. Don't think, I'm bothering. No, the hell with that. Bullshit, because you're not. They've given you permission. You have to be ruthless on this. I would be happy for you guys to go anything up to, 5, 6, 7, 8 points of contact in any one day across a number of different mediums. If you can contact them via Facebook Messenger, there's another way. So you've got, the 4 primary ones: leave a message, text message, email, Facebook.
Yeah.
And be ruthless, because I've had countless amounts of high-end signups, and by that, it could be Game Changer, it could be MFT, our MRC program, which we're doing now, and I'll contact these people 10, 12, 15, sometimes 20 times to make that sale. And that's what our team here does as well. We've got Phil on board now. That guy's just a terrier. He's a dog with a bone. He doesn't give up. And that's what you need to do. And you may think it's, it's taking up a lot of your time. To leave a message, 15, 20 seconds. To send a text message, another 30 seconds. It doesn't have to take a lot of time, but this could lead someone into your LBE, into a full membership. They could be working with you for the next 3 years. They could have a lifetime, value of, $5,000, $10,000. You don't know where it's going to go. So I would recommend be ruthless, be really tenacious, and don't give up.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Couple of key points here from people. First, Matt, where do we find the text scripts? Right now, they're in the Facebook group, and Cam said the same. Text scripts are in the group. What I'll do is I'll add them to the portal, so they'll be there. But if you just do a search on the files in the Facebook group, if you want them today, I'll tag you boys in that as well. Anna, you said you're trying to pass off your sales to your new coach, but he's only available at limited times during the week. So do I share the calls with him? So if he's available at those times, incoming new leads, then get him on them and get them on him quick. I'd be having a chat to him in and around his structure in terms of trying to see if he could do some just small windows every single day outside of the gym. Otherwise, you guys need a really good system, whether it's just a Google Sheet, for example, where it's new lead, the contacts, and then it's passed on to you. I don't think multiple people calling is a problem at all, whatsoever, as long as, there's not a conversation being taken.
Yeah, so we actually do that here as well. And I know like you and Brandon might actually be sharing this. I don't have a problem with it. You know, if I've tried to contact a lead 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, 12 times, after about 10 or 12 times, I'll pass it over to Phil. So it's a new phone number, it's a new email, you know, it might just, oh yeah, okay, yeah, now, new guy, I'll pick the phone up. So we can sort of go a little bit back and forth with that. So if you're going to share that with Brandon, I don't have a problem with that at all. Yeah. I think that's fine.
The other thing, which I've just already alluded to, is you need a system. And so like everything in life, you need a follow-up system. So how many follow-ups have I actually made? What dates were they made on? And so you can use something like Gym Leads, and I know this is what Code 5 does, and it automates all the text messages, sends all these alerts, and it's a very high-end, very good program. That may be a little above and beyond for some of you where you are right now, and I don't believe some of you need that right now. It could be as simple, and I've designed this for businesses before, it's as simple as a Google spreadsheet, and you just have your 12, 15 contacts listed, you have the prospect's name, and you just drop in the date on when you made that. So, phone call 1, message, text message 1, email, and you just drop the date in. Really just takes you about 30 seconds to update, so you can see where they are in the journey of their text messages and phone calls. And it's very, very simple to manage. And then you could pass that on from team member to team member. So, you guys need a system, because if you're just like getting in all these inbound leads and you're like, I don't know if I've sent them one text, have I called them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times? I can't remember. You just drop it into a spreadsheet. And again, we can automate some of this. Your Zap can take the Facebook lead, drop it into a Google Drive straight away.
Yep.
All right. So that's what's happening with our leads right now as well. We drop it into a Google Drive using Zapier. Name, email, phone number comes in there, and then I can just update the contacts accordingly. All right. You don't need to put huge amounts of dates or times. And as Kevin said, we have got like our KPIs. Phil will make 50 phone calls in 4 hours. 50 contacts, so that might be phone calls and texts and emails. You can do it because all you're doing is copying and pasting the email, copying and pasting the text message. I've got all the text messages that I wrote for you guys in notes, and I just copy and paste and slide them across. So make it easier on yourself.
Yeah, so it's not going to take up all that much time. If you set aside, we spoke about having 2 or 3 chunks. You can spend an hour, 45 minutes to an hour on each of these. It's not going to take up too much of your time.
Yeah. Now, Jimmy put a really nice post up the other day. It was really beautiful segue for what we're covering here. 80% of the sales are between the 5th and 12th contact. You guys just say that out aloud to me where you are sitting right there. Say it out aloud to me. I want to see mouths moving. Good. Very, very good. You guys need to remember this, because I seem to have the same conversation multiple times. And that is, I'll speak to someone I'm having trouble getting in contact. How many calls you make? 2, 3. No. 5 to 12 is what it takes. 5 to 12, the majority of the sales are made.
Yep.
All right. So if you're giving up early, you're leaving money on the table. You're not helping people that reached out to you, and you're not solving their problems.
I don't want to hear that from anyone who hasn't made at least, within 4 days, at least 15 attempted points of contact.
Yeah.
You have to do that in the first 4 days. You have to be ruthless. And as I said before, don't think you're stalking them. People are busy.
Yeah.
They're just simply busy. And I do it myself. I get these phone calls. Oh, shit, yeah, I'm still interested in that, but I haven't got time to talk to them now. I get these texts. I'm one of those people. Yeah. But don't give up on me.
Yeah.
Because they'll make the sale with me. Perfect example for anyone who's been to our Next Gen event, and I actually have a screenshot there of somebody who I've contacted. Danny was the name, and she was an MFT. On the 13th point of contact was where I signed her up, and I actually have it there. And I finally got through to her on Facebook, and she came back and she said, "Hey, look, I've been in a conference for a week. Sorry, I haven't gotten back to you. Still really interested. Thanks so much for following up. I need you to follow me up."
Yeah.
That's what a lot of your leads are thinking.
Yeah, and think about yourself. Like I always put myself in the consumer's shoes. Quite often I'll make an inquiry because I've got the time and the space to make an inquiry right there and then. Then I'm just busy as all hell. You know, I'm running the business. I've got the kids. I'm training and everything else. I don't have time to pick up the phone. I don't have time to text back. Doesn't mean I'm not interested in the service. I've still got that unmet need. So just from a mindset perspective, remember that. So the first C, contact. Feedback, guys. Hands up if that has been helpful for you thus far. Hands up if that's helpful for you. All right, beautiful, beautiful. I'd love you to put in the chat box right now, what are you going to do differently as a result of everything you've just heard on the contact phase? All right, so put it in the chat box. Christine, stalk
people. Love that.
Josh Welsh, annoy them. Yep. Beautiful. I'm glad you guys have understood this crystal clear.
Not give up so quickly.
Yeah,
Great.
Good. Yep. Schedule time and better system. Block out time. Persistent. Make more contacts, even if a text, if I don't have time for a call. Good.
Great,
Track
Justin.
your follow-ups using a Google Sheet instead of your whiteboard. Sammy, don't be afraid of a no. Yeah, I love that.
Yep.
Kirsten, more contact. Use all points of contact. Good. Don't know if I've heard from everyone yet. Employ Kev. Beautiful. Going to add them all on Facebook. Good. You can just copy and paste their inquiry email into Facebook and it will find them because there are lead ads. Add an additional method of contact. Good.
And one of the other things as well is sometimes a no is as good as a yes.
Yeah.
You know, in this, if they're no longer interested or, you know, if they found something else or whatever, we just want to get a commitment one way or the other. Yes, they're still interested or no, they're not. If they're not, great. I don't have to waste any more time on that.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to get to either a yes or a no at this stage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I actually like it when they at least let me know because I can stop the process at that point.
And thank them for it as well. You know, hey, thanks for letting me know. Great. That's it.
Yeah, beautiful. Baxter, make sure admin is contacting them a second time in the afternoon. Yeah, absolutely, because people are busy at different periods of the day. Bree, better system. Dom, add contacts onto phone or Google Contacts so you can group them and just send them one message. Yeah, be wary of the group message. I like a personalized message.
Yeah.
You'll look in those text scripts. There are, I think all 4 of them are personalized off the top of my head. So there is power in the personalized. That spear, what we call a spear, short, personal, evoking a response as we move through it.
And the thing is as well, you know, depending on how many leads you're getting through every day, you know, if you're getting 4, 5, 6, you know, up to 10 leads a day, which is great, you can do it personally. You know, it's not as if at the moment, I don't think anyone's sort of getting 50 or 100 leads a day. I hope at one point you are, but at that point, you know, you're not. So you still can keep it personalized.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Anything before we move on to our next C, the conversation? Is there anything that we haven't covered? Is there anything that you're unclear about? Is there anything that you'd like some further strategies or information on? Unmute yourself or put it in the chat box before we move on. I'm just going to have a quick scan and give you guys a moment to do so. All right, so I like Dom's here on the starting point. Concern with consistency and follow through. Calls versus SMS, SMS versus Facebook Messenger versus email. That's a really, really good point, Dom. Thank you for raising it. So we have a few theories. We have some insights into that. So generally, the way that people contact you will be their preferred method of contact. So if someone messages you, sends you a DM on Instagram, that's their preferred method of contact. And so what quite often we do as salespeople or business owners is we try to divert it to our preferred method of contact. So it's like, yeah, just send me through your number and I'll give you a call. No. If they wanted a call, they would have called us. So have the conversation using the medium that they've contacted you with. But then other times people will contact you through one medium and they'll actually have another preferred method. So you've got to find that. You've got to and that's why we say multiple sources.
Yep.
And then you can find which one they're most responsive on.
Yeah, and I guess we can use them on like a bit of a continuum as well, because obviously, you know, it's difficult to get someone to sign up to an LBE or one of your programs, you know, via, you know, an Instagram DM or something like that. So look at it. Okay, this is their first point of contact. Where do I want to get them to next? And maybe the next point of contact is from that Instagram DM. I want to get them, you know, on a phone call. So we're trying to work from that Instagram DM into the phone call. Then from the phone call, you know, we want to go further. We want to get them into, you know, our studio, or we want to get them into the LBE, you know, and then once they're in the LBE, we want to get them into full membership. So look at it in that way. And you can actually, you know, approach people from, you know, an Instagram DM or a text or however the lead has come through, you know, and they might be asking things like, tell me more about your program, what's the price, blah, blah, blah. We want to create that that dialogue to start with. Hey, thanks so much for your lead. You know, love to be able to help you out. I'd love to be able to give you some more information. You know, are you available for a phone call, you know, on this time? So we're just taking them to the next point.
Yeah, and even before a phone call, it's what we call hot potato. So they've asked a question. Now I want to ask a question back, and I throw the potato. And so
open-ended questions.
Questions. Hey, just so I can help you best, what's the biggest challenge you have right now with your health and fitness? Boom. And then we can go back, build the dialogue and the relationship. Then we can elevate it and take it to that different medium, i.e. the phone call, as we move through. We better keep going because we've got 20 minutes to go and we've got 2 C's left. Number 2 is the conversation itself. Now, hands up if you printed that PDF that I put in the Facebook Messenger. Hands up if you, hands up. If you haven't, go and do it, or at least get it on your screen, because that's going to be really helpful for you in this. So Kevin previously has created a stellar template. What I've done today is I've actually taken that template and I've made it a little bit easier for us to use. So this is how it looks. Every single one of your sales conversations should be made using one of these. So go and print 50 copies of it off now, because what that's going to give you is it's going to give you a consistent conversation. It's going to ensure that you're navigating the conversation the right way, because what generally happens, and I see it internally with our guys and myself as well, is you'll get a sales call and you'll kind of be making things up on the fly. So you'll jump around all over the place, as opposed to taking someone from a very clear point. First, we're establishing rapport. Then we're uncovering need. Then we're providing solution. Then we're getting commitment. So it's a very clear, linear pathway that we're taking someone through. And that's where this comes in handy. This will be one of the greatest resources in your business if you deploy it. So I'm not going to go through all of this because we don't have the time to go through all of this. I want you guys to go through it. I want you to read the script. I want you to practice it with your team members, with your partner. Then I want you to practice it with your prospects. You will find that your sales conversions increase significantly as a result. This has come about from, Kevin and I have been in sales even before we had FDI. We're in big account manager roles at the same company. We've been in sales for about 13, 14 years together. And it's also come about from, the thousands of conversations I've had with prospects for fitness services, as well as inspiration from a lot of really good coaches. So,
yeah, absolutely. And I know people, and ourselves included, I mean, we've been in sales a long time, and that's all we do at the moment. And we still use this. So don't think you can just do it off the top of your head. Because it can come across as unprofessional. You get lost. All of a sudden, you've had a 20-minute conversation and it hasn't gone anywhere. And, and I've been guilty of it. And to a certain extent, still, quite guilty of it. I've got to have that in front of me, and I've got to be making the notes. And that's why we've put it in those boxes as well. Make those notes so you can refer back to them during the conversation. They're going to give you information which you can give back to them. You've told me what, this is what your challenges are.
Yeah.
And later in the conversation, you can go back and refer to that. So it is a winning formula if you use it correctly. And just make the commitment to use that and practice it as well. As Dan said, practice with your teammates. No one likes to do role playing. Like, no one likes it. but unfortunately it's something which you have to do. If you want to get better at this and you want to get better at those conversions, you have to do a little bit of role play. Do it with your partner at home. Do it with your sales team. Get comfortable with that.
Yeah. What I will say is everything's here. Everything almost verbatim is here. Like you just follow the script, follow the grid, go through it. But one of the things I did want to share is just one component of this, which is just been, for use of a better word, game-changing in our business. And that is the welcome and rules box. So the very, very first box that you have there, and I'm sure some of you have actually felt this or experienced this when you've had a conversation with me over the phone. The first thing we need to understand from a psychology point of view is people love to buy, but
they hate being sold to.
They hate being sold to. And so this welcome and rules and this script right here is gold, really breaks this down. So what we do is we go, hey, Kev, thanks so much for leaving your details in relation to our 21-day kickstart. How's your day going?
Absolutely fantastic. Thanks.
Beautiful. Fantastic. Look, got your details. Absolutely fantastic. Thanks so much for doing so. What I want to do is simply just find out more about you. I want to find out, what your goals are, where you are with your health and fitness, and how we could potentially help. However, if I don't feel like I'm in a position to help whatsoever, then I'll definitely let you know and I'll point you in the right direction. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Beautiful. What have I done? I've just alleviated any stress. All right. So, all I want to do in this conversation is find out about you.
Yeah.
If I'm not in a position to help, then I certainly won't tell you about anything that we have to offer.
Yeah.
And I'll actually point you in the right direction and give your details to somebody else. So straight away, I've dropped the walls because people, and I feel it on the phone, you feel their energy on the phone. Hands up if people have felt the prospect just kind of like almost cringe when they heard that you're, on the phone about to sell them something. Hands up if you guys have felt that. I think we all have, right? So it is cringeworthy, right? And so what I hear is almost this sigh of relief when we drop that. Oh, okay, yes, this is about me. And then we get into the crux of the conversation.
Immediately what the prospect is thinking, okay, he's not here to sell me something.
Yeah.
Straight away. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, we're just having a conversation.
Yeah.
That's all we're having. So that's one part which, even if you just change one thing about your sales process from this call to today, tomorrow, make it be that. Get really comfortable, confident saying that. Because the guys in here, I learned this, I've taught the guys, and it's just been revolutionary. It really has.
Yeah.
In that. So guys, any questions in particular around the conversation? I know that you've only got this a few hours ago, but any questions, any problems, any challenges you're having in the conversation? We'll talk about close next, but the actual conversation itself, just either turn yourself off mute or drop it in the chat before we move on. So I'll give you guys a little moment to do that. As I give you guys a moment to do that, Cam's asked, can the text be the same as your email? Yes, it can. Yeah. And in terms of where that is, I'll tag you in that. It's in the Facebook group for now. So guys, any questions, queries in regards to the conversation? Where are you tripping up? What are you finding difficult? Let us know. I'm going to hand over to Kev because my computer's about to die.
Oh, okay. Oh, beautiful. So guys, so let's keep sending through those questions, because as I mentioned earlier, this is all about you. So just hands up at the moment. Who's going to feel a little bit more comfortable with that conversation right at the moment? And particularly with that first part, just alleviate all that pressure. Say, you know what? I just want to find out more about you. If that's just one sentence that you use right at the start, I just want to find out more about you. And if I feel that our program is going to be good for you, I'll tell you more about it. So that way you're not wasting any time either. If someone's coming to you and you're a powerlifting gym and they want to do yoga, chances are it's not going to work. And you can find that out very, very early in the conversation. Say, you know what, that's not really what we do. That's not what we specialize in, but I'm more than happy to recommend someone else. So you can actually identify that right there and then, so you're not wasting a half an hour call, and they're not going to lead you on. So that's really, really good. Fiona said the script helps. Fiona, I know your sales conversion rates have gone up since last year. Justin, the sheet is awesome for taking pressure off and creating flow. Yeah, really well said. You want it to sound natural. You want the conversation to be exactly that, conversational.
Yeah, beautiful. Awesome. So guys, use the script. Print out 50 copies today. Use it, get comfortable with it. You might change some of the phrasing and the language to represent you a little bit more, but really don't change 95% of it, because we know it works. We know it's pretty much bulletproof, this script, as we move through it. We'll do another call where we'll go in depth in each box and troubleshoot some different areas. But
we'll do some online role play as well.
Yeah, we'll do some online role play. But definitely integrate it, use it, and you'll see big changes. I was speaking to Paul last week on his 90-day call, and he said his sales conversions have gone up. And I said, what did you attribute it to? And he said, this. As well. Jana, in terms of create a second script for face-to-face chats, you know what? It's the same. It really is. It's the same conversation. It's the same navigation, whether it's face-to-face or whether it's over the phone. It's exactly the same.
Yep.
As you move through. All right. If there's no questions about conversation, let's talk about close, because this is where people trip up, feel awkward, and struggle a little bit. So talk to me, guys. Where are you struggling with the close itself? I want to have you guys pretty specific. What's struggling? There's a few things that have already been added at the moment. So one of the things is Darren said they want to have a quick chat before or after a session. Anna, getting them excited about the product. I think the conversation is going to really help you there, because you unflesh their need and you actually do some projections. So you actually get them envisioning, you know, what they look like had they achieved their goals. Most want to come in first and meet Justin, so that's definitely something. So yeah, having it hard to get payment confirmation over the phone. Let's park that. I want to talk about that. As we go there. Few people are having some trouble with the freebie as well. So there's a few things on the close that are coming through, some themes. All right, so let's have a look. Money, Cam, you've said money's an objection. Asking for the CC details over the phone. They want to come out and check out the place first, fighting their objections. Okay, beautiful. All right, so I think I'm going to split this up into two parts. Number one is taking the conversation from it being about them and uncovering their need to actually transitioning. And so the transition is quite simple. And again, it's in here and it's in the script. So what you do is you've uncovered their need. And so let me just make sure I've got this right. You'd like to lose 5 kilos of weight, but right now you just don't have any structure or accountability. You're struggling to get into the gym consistently and you just don't know what to eat. Have I understood everything correctly, or have I missed anything? No? Fantastic. Beautiful. All right. Now you show how you've worked with people and solved that problem. We've worked with many, many people when it comes to losing fat. We've actually got a revolutionary process and program where you have to come in just only 3 times a week for 30-minute sessions, and then we focus on big nutritional habits. We've actually had over 100 people lose 5 kilos of fat within our facility over the last couple of years. Now, there's 2 main ways that we help people do this. The first is through our 21-day kickstart, which entitles you to X, Y, and Z, or the second is through our one-on-one training. Which one would suit you best? So that's what we call an A or B close. Now, the beauty of an A or B close is it gives the person autonomy. And I've just accelerated the process there, but we're just taking them from, you told me your goals were this is how I can solve it. Which one's going to suit you best?
So there's a couple of things which come up there as well. One is the conversation that you have is very benefit rich. So these are the benefits which we've given other people. So it's not just all about the features. In fact, the features, from what Dan has just said there, this is, one of the programs that we've got. This is another one of the programs we've got. We've got small group training or semi-private training, one-on-one. Which one would suit you best? So we're not actually going into the nitty-gritty features of this, but what we have spent more time on is the benefits and the people who've had great success. So that's one of the things which comes from there. The other thing with an A or B close as well is, as Dan said, it gives them autonomy, So they believe that they're in charge of, the decision-making process. Sure, it's going to be a win-win situation for us, and that's fine. But we don't want to force them into something which they're not comfortable with. And Dan loves to use a line, people are begging to be led. So you want to give them options, but probably 2 options, or no more than 2 options, because once people, start to think about 3, 4, we've got team training, we've got, outdoor boot camp, we've got one-on-one training, we've got nutrition coaching, we've got online coaching, all of these kind of things.
Too much.
You know what? A busy mind makes no decision. So give them 2 options. And this is like the 2 options which you believe are going to be best for them. And tell them, these are the 2 options which I believe are going to be best for you, which would suit best.
Yeah. So a lot of you guys are now listing specific objections, okay? So you've gotten to the close, hasn't been so much that you feel clunky with the close from what I can get, or not confident with the close. It's that you're still getting objections. So here's my theory on objections. Objections are raised because you didn't do the conversation piece well. That is my theory on it. So as soon as you start deploying the system and really uncovering that need and helping them project into the future and sharing how your service is the bridge between where they are and where they want to get to, then you will have less objections. The objections are rearing their head because you haven't done a good enough job in this. Now, that's not to say 100% of all objections are because we haven't nailed this conversation piece, but I think a real good portion are. Sometimes just other objections will arise, and then we have specific objection handling to move that. So I'm just going to talk about a couple because a couple of you have raised there's been some themes in your objections. Number one is people want to come in, and this is where you divert them and just go, what we do is we don't actually do a free trial. That's why we've created our 21-day Kickstart. It's a really easy, flexible way for you to trial our services, make sure that you're a really good fit, but for us to also give you an opportunity to get you some really meaningful results. That's how we start all of our new clients, and this would be your perfect starting point as you move through it. So remember, we're in control, and so we tell people how we work with them. Not the other way around. So, I just want to try, one topic of the Master Functional Trainer to see if it's suitable for me. No. We've got an entry-level product. You can do the masterclass, all right? Or you can go through the full shebang, all right, as you do it.
The other thing as well here is, we want to find out what their level of commitment is as well. Because if they're not willing to, commit to 28 days for $97 or something like this, or they just want things for free. I want to come in, 7-day free trial, all this kind of stuff. What are they going to be like when they are a member? Are they going to be committed to training 3 times a week? Are they going to be committed to their weekly payments? All of these kind of things as well. So this is a qualifying process for us as well, because it works both ways. Sure, they may want to work with us, but do we really want to work with them? This person on the phone, they've just been hard work. Shit, man, I've spent all this time and, and I'm doing everything I can to get this person over the line. It's killing me. Do you want to be working with that person day after day after day after day? So it's a good qualifying process for us as well.
Yeah, absolutely it is. What I would say is when you're doing your sales calls, once you implement this, and you are getting objections, write down what the objection is. So keep writing down the objection. And then what we can do is we can look for themes. Because the other big thing with objections is objections particularly rear their head at the end of the sales conversation. And then that's when people feel flustered. And then that's when people don't get the commitment. But if you're seeing a theme emerge, so Anna, you said they want to come in. So what you can do is you can actually raise that objection earlier in the conversation itself. All right. So earlier within that conversation piece, a lot of people, let me can articulate this a little bit better. So what we do is how we get you started is we get you started through our 21-day Kickstart. This enables you to ensure that we're a really good fit for you and for us to get you some meaningful results. We don't do any free trials. We don't do any free tours because we've got this great introduction product which will really get you some meaningful results and you can really see what we're about. And so right away I've squashed that free trial or free tour objection within the sales conversation itself.
It's not going to come up as an objection at the end.
That's right.
It's just eliminated that.
Yeah.
So when we get to the end of the conversation and we're going into that, the transition into the close, we know that one's not going to come up. Or if it does, you know what? I already mentioned this a little bit earlier, that we don't actually offer, free trials or tours or anything like that. Spoke about it earlier. Chances are it's not going to come up.
Yeah. So what we did, and again, you've got to be perceptive. You've got to be really perceptive and mindful. So in our masterclass sales, we always sell our MFT in our masterclass. And I know a number of you have come through this program through that process. And what we do is we go themes. Okay, well, what's the objection? I've got to go ask my partner. Okay, well, let's raise this objection in the actual sell itself. So now when I'm standing up there selling, I'll actually say, look, I know a number of you will want to go and chat to your partner before committing to this program. I absolutely recommend that you do so, because it would be great to have their support before you embark on this program. So what we'll do is simply leave your details, and then we've got a 48-hour cooling off period. That enables you to lock down, secure this deal, and if anything changes, then simply just contact us and we'll tear up your piece of paper, we'll tear up your application. As a result of that, because we saw the theme, we raised the objection and now we deal with it, our conversions went up about 6%.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually, a few of them. I mean, money's the other one as well. Money, time, have to check with the partner. So they're the three objections which are actually part of, the pitch, if you like. So we actually bring those up. So, when it comes to people actually committing and putting their credit card details down, they're much more likely to do it because we've already addressed that.
Yeah. So, guys, we've got 3 minutes left. I would love to hear from you. What has been the most valuable thing that you have seen, heard, learnt today when it comes to the conversational close piece? Put it down in the comments. I want everybody committing to at least one key takeaway from the conversational close piece. Put it in the comments before we wrap things up. I want everybody to commit to this. Okay. Cam, all the different points of contact. Justin Borg, practice the conversation.
Yep.
100%, mate. Like, role play is just key. Josh Wells, learn the template. Yeah.
Yep.
Big time. The template does it. The script, Kirsten, you're the same.
Use
the sales sheet on every call. Anna, good. You should have a pile. On my desk, you will see a pile of sales sheets. I haven't heard from everybody. Everybody's got to drop something down. Yana,
objections early.
Identify objections early. Time allocations in the diary and lead tracker refined. Fiona, Bree used the template. Baxter used the template. Hadn't seen it before. Christine, consistency is the key.
Yep,
love
absolutely.
it. Matt, it's a process like anything. Stick to it. Yeah,
Definitely.
time. Big time. Like, I have to sometimes kick the guys up the arse because they don't do the process. The process works. The 80% is not happening till the 5th and 12th attempt astounded me. Yeah, huge one, isn't it?
Yep.
Wade, love the process. Good. Kim, you have to run. That's not a good takeaway, but thanks for sharing. Beautiful. Look, we've got 1 more minute. So if you've got anything that wasn't answered, or if you've help us guide, how you want this training to look in the future as well, just drop it in the comments.
Absolutely. Paul, more methods of contact, use the script text, also in email. Yeah, really good. Robbie Spring, raise objections before they occur. Absolutely, yep. Robbie.
Yeah, and Robbie, I'll just quickly take one there, which Josh raised as well, which impacts you. Some of you guys in commercial gyms, if someone's fearful of joining a commercial gym, again, you can raise that early in the conversation. Hey, one of the great things about our 21-day Kickstart is you get 21 days of using the gym without being locked into a long-term gym membership. So not only do you get this great personal training, but you get access to this gym without a long-term contract.
Yeah, it's an
raise
added
the
benefit.
objection, smash it.
Yeah, so you turn it from an objection into a benefit for them.
And linking the dialogue with our existing screening questionnaire. Will, good,
Great.
Beautiful, fantastic, guys. Hope you've had got a lot of value from today. We're refining our systems that we deliver you guys, so we're constantly delivering more and more value. So hands up if you got value from today's call. Beautiful. Love seeing that. If there's any other, bits of feedback or gaps or anything else you need addressed, make sure you let us know and we'll produce the solutions accordingly.
Also up for alignment calls Thursday afternoons as well. So you can go to the top of the Facebook pin post, and you can book in for alignment calls there as well. So take advantage of those guys, because that time is, it's allocated. I'm free at those times if you want to talk sales.
Yeah. So if you want to role play and you want to role play with a great man, book in one of those alignment calls. And I suggest you all do that at some point. Awesome, guys. Absolutely stellar training. I had fun. You had fun, mate?
Had an absolute blast. Good turnout as well. Thanks, guys.
Stellar turnout. Fantastic. Well done, guys. Thanks, guys. Have an awesome Wednesday.